Concerns being raised by local authorities as we head into Memorial Day weekend with social distancing guidelines still in place. Meanwhile, major malls getting ready to open when they'll welcome shoppers back and the changes you can expect. And the local program that's helped thousands of businesses navigate through these tough times and how they're preparing them to reopen. 10 News Midday starts now.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
And hello and welcome to this 10 News Midday. I'm Jim Patton. Great to have you with us. I am joined remotely by my co-anchor Virginia Cha and 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry. Great to see both of you as always, and we'll be with you in just a moment. First, we start with a look at some of the latest coronavirus headlines. We're going to have more on how authorities are prepping for Memorial Day weekend in a moment. But ahead of that, a look at the number of citations officers have handed out. Between the first weeks of April and May, SDPD gave out more than 1,150 citations related to stay-at-home order violations. Sheriff's deputies have issued 137 since the start of April. And this morning, a new look at unemployment in California. State says its unemployment rate hit 15.5% last month, which is higher than it ever was during the Great Recession. Well, just minutes ago, the president held an impromptu press conference called on governors to open churches and other houses of worship, calling them essential. He said, quote, "If they don't do it, I will override the governors." He spoke for roughly 2 minutes and then left the White House briefing room. Well, the Memorial Day holiday weekend will happen as county leaders cautiously lift restrictions put in place because of the coronavirus. 10 News reporter Jared Aarons spoke with first responders who are worried some San Diegans may take their newfound freedoms too far.
Some stores and restaurants have reopened, but the boardwalk is still closed and the beach is still limited to just walking or jogging, no stopping. As Memorial Day weekend begins, police, lifeguards, and the other people tasked with enforcing those rules say they hope that the locals remember them and the tourists learn quickly.
We are still staffing with some extra staffing in anticipation that people are going to be off work for the long weekend, and more people may be coming out and using the beach as an opportunity to get outside and get in the water and do some exercise.
Lifeguards and police cruised the shoreline Friday morning as a reminder of the rules. They plan to do the same all weekend, still with a focus on education over enforcement.
Our lifeguards are just going to do our best using our PAs, making contact with people when we can to try to help enforce that. And what we ask of the public is if someone reminds you, hey, you got to keep moving, no sitting, and asks you to move along, we just ask that you respect that and move along.
Away from the beach, San Diego police say they've already responded to more house party calls in May than they had in all of April. They expect more this weekend, even though county rules still prohibit gatherings with people from outside your home. Officers can't go into your home to enforce that rule, though, so they're asking the public to self-govern during the unofficial start of summer.
I want to remind San Diegans that, we are still dealing with this pandemic. We are still dealing with a virus that's out there. So just doing it responsibly, I think, is an important message.
All week, county leaders have stressed the importance of following the rules. They say if we don't and the coronavirus numbers continue to climb, they'll have to put the restrictions back in place. At Mission Beach, Jared Aarons, 10 News.
Jared, thank you very much. I want to take live now to a police chase that is happening, and I think we may be just trying to get the router in the right direction, but there's a police chase underway in South Los Angeles. It's been going on for at least the last 30 minutes or so, reaching extreme speeds. And if we have the picture, we'll go ahead and take it. If not, we can move on to the next story and get to it a little later. Want to do that? We can do that. All right. Well, several coastal cities in Orange County are extending their beach hours for Memorial Day weekend and making beach access easier. Seal Beach, Huntington Beach, and Newport Beach are now allowing beach access on weekends and extending beach hours, with most of them now closing at 10 p.m. Previously, beaches were only open Monday through Thursdays. Officials are also opening more parking lots this weekend. The beaches will still only be open for active use.
Meanwhile, Westfield malls in San Diego County say they have a plan to welcome shoppers back in a week 4 Westfield malls, Plaza Bonita, North County, UTC, and Mission Valley, will allow shoppers in again on Friday, May 29th, so a week from now. Westfield says they will limit crowd size in the malls and try to keep people from gathering in large groups. The rules will apply to social distancing and masks, and they plan to increase cleaning. The malls will also have shorter hours. Well, all 50 states are now starting to move back to some semblance of pre-pandemic life. But as ABC's Alex Prochet explains, one of the nation's top experts is now warning about a second wave of the coronavirus.
This morning, a warning from the head of the Centers for Disease Control about a second wave of the coronavirus. Director Robert Redfield saying it's very likely, pointing to the Southern Hemisphere's cooling temperatures and spike in cases. Redfield not ruling out a second lockdown, saying, "I can't guarantee. What I can say is that we are committed to using the time that we have now to get this nation as overprepared as possible." President Trump disagreeing with the possibility of a second lockdown.
Whether it's an ember or a flame, we're going to put it out, but we're not closing our country.
Also, more guidance. The CDC updating its website, reminding people the virus does not spread as easily on surfaces as initially thought, saying, quote, "The virus spreads easily between people," adding touching surfaces or objects is not the main ways the virus spreads. Ahead of the holiday weekend, Dr. Anthony Fauci on CNN encouraged Americans to go out while taking precautions.
I plan to go out for nice walks and hikes over Memorial Day, and I'm going to do it with care, with a mask on.
The entire country now easing restrictions. This graduation in Hoover, Alabama. Nearly 400 students at the stadium. Masks were required to enter. Restaurant chains in Florida are opening up more.
We're reopening our dining rooms. About 1,500 restaurants in North America that have started to open their dining rooms.
And in South Carolina, amusement parks, museums, and mini golf courses can open today. Ohio is allowing weddings with up to 300 people beginning June 1st. And Alaska taking an even bigger step, skipping straight to phase 4, totally reopening after the holiday. A big part of fighting COVID-19 are those antibody tests, and to protect consumers, the FDA has identified 27 tests that it views as problematic. It's putting that list on its website. Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
Flags are at half-staff at the White House in memory of the nearly 95,000 Americans who've lost their lives to the coronavirus. This will also be the scene at government buildings throughout the U.S. President Trump issuing the order to mark the loss of life during this pandemic. Now, this virus continues to spread with more than 1.5 million confirmed cases in the U.S. Flags will remain at half-staff until noon on Monday to also commemorate the lives honored on Memorial Day. Well, a local group in the South Bay has helped nearly 5,000 businesses across San Diego County stay afloat during this really tough time. 10 News reporter Vanessa Paz shows us how they've been working behind the scenes, as well as what they're doing now that restrictions are easing up.
And they're like, okay, we took a step, we're able to breathe now, and seeing that progression of like it's happening, we're making it happen, and feeling the support from us, it's also a big deal.
When thousands of businesses were stretched thin because of COVID-19, many felt they had nowhere to turn. That's when Southwestern College's Small Business Development Center stepped in.
And they're like, okay, I can do that. And to have something to grasp onto rather than just be in panic mode.
The center is funded by the Small Business Administration and State of California, but local entrepreneurs run it. Normally, they give tools and training to small business owners. In March, as the pandemic hit, they were a lifeline of information and advice.
I even had to help my clients move into a space to having online meetings and really teaching them how to use Zoom and how to do all the things.
Rowana Kennedy with Gluten-Free Baking Company was one of the small business owners who turned to them for help. We profiled her North Park Bakery back in March. The center helped her implement drive-up and curbside service. Now with San Diego County easing up restrictions, allowing more face-to-face interaction, the center created a 3-week online boot camp to navigate the new normal.
It's crazy times and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The campaign is short, the campaign is quick, and it's repeatable.
Guiding owners to adapt and create safe ways to reopen while following county guidelines. Reporting for 10 News, Vanessa Paz.
More than 100 people have already signed up, and there's still time to sign up. If you want to get some more information, just go to 10news.com/open.
Thank you very much, Virginia. And that's not all you'll find on 10news.com. There you can also catch our Coronavirus Impact podcast. In the latest episode, 10 News Sports Director Ben Higgins talks to people on both sides of the decision to open up restaurants to diners and look ahead at what's next. You can find that on 10news.com or on your favorite podcast app.